which is what I got to do on Friday, which I am so thankful for. On Friday, in the Thunderdome in Tampa Bay, Florida, I got a chance to be a full-time commentator alongside the greatest of all time in Michael Cole. Now, a lot of people will say there was a good rib that happened immediately upon Smackdown beginning Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox, which is Twitter shutdown. Twitter just absolutely shut down, stopped working. Twitter, 5 minutes into the show, just stopped working. Now, I guess my account was able to tweet videos out, which shout out to Nikki Tweets, who was doing that while I'm live. A lot of people were tweeting me, oh, you're tweeting out videos of yourself live while you're on the air. I was not, okay? I'm not that talented. It was actually old Nikki Tweets up there. He was tweeting them out, and then he texted me and was like, hey, we could tweet out things, but we can't see anything that's going on. I'm like, what do you mean? And it was in the middle of the show, so I had no idea what was going on. So then it wasn't until after the show, whenever I was, flying back to Indianapolis, Indiana, kind of taking it all in. Normally that's a time for me to scour the internet, kind of see what everybody's thinking. Twitter was down, just completely broken for me all weekend. So I didn't have a chance to really see how people thought I did, which I take into very serious consideration on how I act, but I will be able to give you some of my thoughts on how I thought it went. The day was awesome. We left the FanDuel Beach House, drove up to the Yuengling Center, went in there, kind of walked around, got a chance to chit-chat with Michael Cole and also an asshole named Baron Corbin, who's down there, who I used to be teammates with. Guy slept on my couch at one point.
He's wearing a dumb shirt, too.
He was wearing a dumb shirt, and he was wearing sweatpants that he was trying to act as if they were jeans. He might as well have been in his goddamn pajamas out there looking like a slob talking to me.
Florida cool.
Jester?
Yeah, he is a bum. He's no longer the court jester. No, he's not that. He's not the king either. He's the bum from Florida sitting on the side of the show there. But I got a chance to chat and talk to everybody. It was very cool. Got a chance to get my makeup done. All right, you're not attractive, need the makeup done. By the way, the spray tan that I was having cook on Friday during the show, it has settled in, and it is a lot deeper now than it was on Friday. Food for thought going forward, cannot get spray tan same day of needing of spray tan is where I'm learning.
Do they have special model cameras for like the modeling headshots that you guys did beforehand? Or?
At Tone Diggs brings me to my next point. I then went up to a still shot area, which had 40 lights, and maybe the nicest camera I'd ever seen in my entire life. Eric No Knees is the guy's name. And he goes, hey, you want to get some photos for the night or whatever? And I'm like, absolutely. I don't know how to work this whole thing. I've only done, I think, 2 photo shoots ever. The one happened out here, and it's always the same photo you see of me pointing at my chest smiling. That's because that's the only real professional photos we have. So I start doing the rock poses that I've seen on Instagram, the influencer poses. I start hitting those things. I go look on the computer, and he goes, how do you feel about these? I'm like, that's the best I've ever looked in my entire life. Thank you so much. The filter was already built in the photography. So then, obviously, as we're about to leave, Foxy forces this guy to take some photos of him. Foxy's like, hey, you got nothing going on anyway. You can take some photos of me. Foxy gets some photos done. That was a lot of fun, right, Foxy?
That was awesome. Yours looked a lot better than mine.
No, Foxy is a model full time. And at this point, I had already had makeup on. Yeah. So I think the light, changed a little bit. But then I cut my hair. Then I had to go do Spaces with Aaron Rodgers, which was originally going to be, I think, for 5-ish, went to 6-ish. We did a Spaces for 25 minutes. We talked about his last day hosting Jeopardy. Then that wraps up. I walk into a meeting, shake a hand real quick, meet somebody that I'd never met before, go to the thing, show starts. So we're talking about there was no real sit down. Hey, expect this. I had no idea what was going to happen all night. No clue. I do believe that is the plan going forward to just keep me completely out of the loop. And if so, I had an absolute blast. I do not think I was anywhere near where I can get to as a commentator for professional wrestling. I used a lot of the words a couple times over and over. I was scared to have too much bass in my voice because I didn't want people to think I was trying to dominate the call or anything like that, but sometimes I sounded a little bit too soft. The standing, I thought was natural instinct was for me to stand when something happened. I guess a lot of people did enjoy that. I appreciate that because that was potentially something that could get me into some shit. A lot of people say you need to stay so we can... The clip of us coming back to the 2 shot of me standing, him sitting, and me kind of being caught in a situation where I'm like, well, I don't know if I should stand or sit right now. That was, one of those kind of ad-lib moments that pop up that is incredible. So I had a blast. I think I stunk, but I have a chance to get better. I enjoyed it. I'm very thankful to all the people at the WWE and to anybody that happened to tune in. I couldn't see your Twitter because mine was broke. At Tone Diggs, weekend in Cincinnati. How are you doing, pal?
Yeah, so I went to Cincinnati. So I just relived or just was made aware of how hectic your Friday was. When I got to Cincinnati, though, and I saw that you were on Spaces with Rogers, I don't know, an hour and a half before you were supposed to go live for Smackdown.
Bingo.
And then I also heard the interview with Cole where you were missing meetings for that. And I was fucking wild move to just go in there on your first Smackdown Friday and just go for it. Like, just wing it. It seemed like it was wing. And how many people at Smackdown knew before the announcement?
Nobody. So it was very tight. It was unbelievable how tight this was kept. This entire office knew, never got out for like a week or so before, I think. That's a long time in the internet, by the way, a week. In the original announcement, and Foxy will have a vlog that comes out, what day?
Tomorrow.
A vlog will come out tomorrow about behind the scenes. The original announcement was going to come out Thursday night. It was going to come out Thursday night. We're going to announce this thing Thursday night because had to go get a COVID test and everything. And they figured if we didn't announce it by the time I go get COVID test, somebody could potentially leak it or whatever. It was like, okay, we'll go out Thursday night. Then on Thursday, something happened in the WWE that none of us knew about. It was like, this does not feel like the right move here. So we actually delay it, get COVID tested, delay it. And it's like, there's no way I wake up tomorrow morning and there isn't somebody somewhere with something, and we were able to break it. Very thankful for all the parties involved, and so incredibly lucky to be able to do that thing week in, week out.
Can I ask how the interaction was with the big man?
So he wasn't there.
Oh,
Vince wasn't there. I know this is a big deal. A lot of people, because once my Twitter came back to life on Sunday, I was able to see some things that people said, and all anybody was saying is, can't wait to hear what he becomes whenever Vince is in his ear, when Vince is in his ear or whatever. And I had to talk about this on Busted Open Radio. I do believe I kind of get a misperception about me is that I'm not coachable or something like that. Okay. Or that I don't like whenever people, potentially say things. It's not, that I'm not. Rich Rodriguez was my coach. He might as well have been Bear Bryant whenever he was coaching West Virginia. I don't know what he's like now, but I enjoy getting coached, actually. If I get coached by somebody I respect, and if I appreciate what that person is saying or how they're saying it to me, or if it makes sense and it relates to me, I can appreciate, because there's a lot of people giving out a lot of advice unwarranted these days when they shouldn't be giving out advice. And there's some people that have done that to me, and I'm like, hey, fuck you, pal. Yeah. I'm not asking you for advice or whatever. So that has happened at a couple of different situations. And a lot of people assume because Michael Cole got mad at me for wearing shorts, my shorts tuxedo, that I don't like coaching because he wanted to do that. It was like, no, what I got mad about is I was sitting there for 6 hours dressed like that. And he was punking me out in front of Dave Bautista and Vince McMahon. And I'm like, yo, there is ways to go about this. The way you're doing this is how I like it. So I actually enjoy being coached up. It's why Mitt is actually here, because the way Tom McMahon, who was a guy who was like pretty much a coach, I enjoy getting coached. I do. I am a little bit like, I need to know why, and it has to come from somebody that I would be seeking advice from. That is a pretty big thing. Vince McMahon is somebody who, if he was to say something to me, no matter how he says it, this is a self-made billionaire that turned something into from a local situation to a worldwide phenomenon. So a lot of people on the internet are like, oh, he's not going to be able to handle Vince McMahon the way Vince McMahon talks to him. It's like, if you talk to me the way Vince McMahon talked to me, I'd smack you in the mouth at Boner Garage 124. Okay, but it's fucking Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? And also, there's a lot of people at that WWE, especially people that I met on Friday that maybe I hadn't met before or whatever. There's a lot of people over there that if they have advice or something to tell me or something to, hey, think about this, they created that business. So I'm going to listen to these people. Now, there was a bunch of blogs about how they're going to try not to overproduce me and all that shit. It's like, I am 33 years old. I want to let everybody know. I have not changed. I will not change. To my own detriment, by the way, I will not change. But I am very, very open to when people give me critiques on what they think will be better. And I'm like, you know what? Right, 100% right. Let's go ahead and do it. I do that every single day. I'll do that on Twitter, by the way. People will say something. I'm like, yeah, valid. That's actually a valid point right there. I'll do that. So I think that narrative is something that I don't appreciate about me because I feel like it's the opposite. It just depends on who's doing the coaching. In this particular world, I don't get a chance to experience old VKM. You're hired until Friday or whatever. And I'm very excited about it.